Welcome to the wonderful world of Pragmatic Psychology. I'm your host, Susanna Mittermaier, and we are going to explore how your difference is the gift that our world requires. Hello, amazing, wonderful you, and welcome to another episode of Pragmatic Psychology. Susanna Mittermaier here with you today, exploring new possibilities. How is your world? I don't know how it is for you, but it's crazy right now. You know, so many things are changing, and it's also very interesting in times like these when so many countries around the world experience change in kind of similar ways. It's interesting how we have choice, and reminding ourselves that we have choice. And you can see like some people are devastated and worry a lot and drowning in heaviness, and some people are thriving and see this as a possibility as, okay, new times are emerging. And it's really interesting how different people choose to, take these times in very different ways. So what is your choice in these times? How are you viewing the world? Are you reacting or are you acting? And that's the question today. It's like it's normal to react in times like these when there are changes, and many countries have lockdowns because of the virus situation, and different governments deal with the situation in different ways. I mean, I'm like right now in Austria, and the government has closed down restaurants and shops, and people are supposed to stay home, and we can go out and take a walk, but that's about it. And then you have other countries like Sweden where they have no lockdown. People can go outside, they can still drink outside in restaurants and see each other, and they just have this 1 meter or something distance from each other, something like this. But so many countries choose to create their countries and use the situation in different ways. And it's so normal to react to a situation like this and, do what other people do, like maybe you look at how other people react and what their points of view are and what they make real and what they make true. And, you can choose to buy other people's points of view, or you can ask what your point of view is, or maybe even better than that, maybe you can ask what you know about the situation. So we have choice, and we have to remind ourselves that we do have choice, especially in times like these. For example, I had a world tour planned actually to travel to Brazil and do classes there. I have classes planned in Mexico, in Guatemala, in, very different parts of the world. We already purchased the flight tickets and everything is planned, everything is set up. And right now, for example, I can't fly out. So I could be very angry. I could be very frustrated right now and react. And I choose not to. And, I've been using the tools that I use for a long time. So I've been practicing, and it truly is practice because, it's so easy to react. It's so normal to react. It's something we have been practicing, or most of us have been practicing our whole lives. And then now realizing, okay, I can react. It's not wrong. But I also can choose to not react. And for me right now, it's like, okay, it is what is. And I know that if I would get angry or upset, it would cost me. Now it already costs me money. But then it also would cost me energy. It would cost me time. It would cost me, the joy that I could choose instead. And so I choose not to react. And for me right now, I go, okay, it is what is. How can I use this situation? What's possible here that I have not yet considered? So rather than reacting and going to conclusions and answers and judgments, which is, again, very normal, you could choose to be different. and ask questions instead, because every question opens up for new possibilities, and every answer keeps you in the past and keeps you in what already is and what has been. So what if you practice asking questions so you can change the direction of your life at every moment? And again, that's the choice point, that we can remind ourselves over and over and over again that we have choice to change the direction of our lives in every moment. You know, it's like when you have been in a situation that doesn't work for you, whether it's a relationship or business or job or something, and you're frustrated and upset and it hasn't worked for you, and you could keep on reacting to the situation not being the way you would like it to, or you could ask a question, or first you could make a choice. Okay, this is the way it has been for a long time. I am making the choice for something different. I have no idea how. I have no idea what it takes. I have no idea how it will look like. I don't even know what to do. I just make the choice for something totally different. You know, that's the number one thing to do when you want to change something. You make a choice for something different. And the good thing is, you don't have to know exactly how that choice looks like when you make it. You just have to make the choice and then ask a question. So first you make the choice, and again, you don't have to know how it looks like, and then you ask a question. Okay, so what is possible here? So in a situation that I just used from my life, I ask, what is possible in this situation that I can choose now? How can I use this situation in a way that I have not yet considered? And the funny thing is, when I asked that question, so many new ideas came up for me. For example, you know, I have done most of my workshops so far live in person, where I travel to different parts of the world. Basically, I travel every weekend somewhere in the world, in Europe or outside of Europe. And I, teach classes and workshops, mostly with pragmatic psychology, but also other things. And I do it in person, and it's so fun to see people live, and I love traveling, and people always ask, is it too much for you? Aren't you tired? I'm like, no, I can't get enough. So, that's what works for me. It doesn't work for everybody, but it works for me. So you also got to find out what works for you in your life, rather than doing like everybody else. But that's what I found works for me. And then with this situation where it's like the country where I live in, Austria, is locked down. I can't, the airport is closed down, so I can't even fly anywhere. There are no trains, nothing. So you can sit at home. And so with the question of what's possible now, how can I use this situation? What can I discover now? What can I create now more than ever before? And especially now. And I kept asking those questions, and I keep asking those questions, and all these ideas show up. And one of the ideas that showed up was to do online classes. So now I meet people online, and I do, people that I was supposed to meet in person, I meet them online. And I had so many points of view about that. I'm like, no, this is not something that I like to do. And it's online, it's not as good as live. And I had all these points of view. And I realized, wow, all these points of view kept me from that possibility. It kept me from adding another option to my life. So, most of us have all those gazillion points of views about what's good and bad and what's right and what's wrong. And they're all very, very interesting points of view. They're not, they're often not even real or have any facts behind them. They're just like something we decided at some point in our lives, or most of them are not even ours. We have, heard someone else say, oh, this is the way it is, and this is the way it should not be or should be. And then we just basically bought those points of views and made them ours. And then we have had them for a while, and then we forget that they have never been ours, and then we walk around and have points of view that keep us from changing our lives, keep us from adding other options to our lives that would make things greater or work better. And I realized, as an example, with me only doing live classes and traveling to the different places around the world rather than adding an online version, was something where I had a point of view, and that kept me from adding something to my life that is another channel of possibilities. And it's like, what points of view do you have that keep you from adding things to your life, that keep you from making your life even greater? It's like, how often do you do this in the different areas of your life? Like, your relationships, your business, your job. It's like, how many points of view do you have about how things are supposed to be with your relationships? How many points of view do you have about how things are supposed to be with your business or your job that keep you from adding other things to your life, that keep you from seeing what else could be possible? And it's so amazing and powerful how our points of view create our reality. Most people tend not to acknowledge that. How powerful your points of view are. If you, once you've decided something, it's like a filter in front of your eyes, and it keeps you from seeing what else could be possible that does not match that filter. Like, anything that doesn't match your point of view, anything that doesn't match that filter cannot come into your life. You cannot even see it. So if you've decided, money can only come from my job, then you focus on that possibility, but it keeps you from seeing how else and other ways money could come to you. And that's such a important thing to realize, how powerful you are with your points of view. So if you start to question the things you've made real and the things you have decided are good or bad or right or wrong, then you can start to be more flexible and see what else is possible. How else can money come to you? How else can you create your relationships, your family? What works for you? Because those points of view, they basically keep you from including you. It is where you exclude you, and you exclude what truly, truly works for you. Which is a pity, because, points of view are like, you make them something that rules your life, rather than, okay, I'm going to question the things that I make real. I'm going to question everything I've decided is good or bad or right or wrong. And I'm going to be more present with what I know, what's true for me, and being willing to be flexible. It's like, if you've decided, I don't eat sushi. Sushi is not something I like. Okay, that's okay. And what if that changes tomorrow? What if you ask your body, hey body, would you like to eat sushi? Maybe your body, that's actually the one who's eating. It's not your mind that's eating. It's actually your body that's eating. So, you actually could ask your body, would you like to eat sushi? And if you get a lightness on that, or you get a yes on that, maybe you should try it. It's like, all those points of view exclude you. They keep your life small, and they keep you from creating the future that truly works for you. And it might seem very convenient to have all those points of view, because you know them, and they've been your friends for a long time, and they tell you who you are. And it's like, that's okay. And is that really enough for you? Or would you like to have a bigger life? Would you like to have a more expansive world? Would you like to, change your life in a way where it's more adventurous? And the less points of view you have, and the more you question your points of view, the bigger your life becomes, the more adventures you will have, the more you will view things and new possibilities the way you have never seen them before. It's remarkable. So one tool that I can give you to facilitate yourself, and facilitate actually means making it easier. So one tool I can give you to facilitate yourself to let go of the points of view and let go of that solidity that the points of view have. It's called interesting point of view. I have this point of view. And this is an access consciousness tool, which I'm very grateful for. Access consciousness is a worldwide, I call it movement in 175 or more or something like this. I don't remember the number, countries in the world that, use these tools. And I use them a lot, and I use them actually daily. And it's something that is designed to create more awareness, more consciousness. And consciousness is basically turning on the lights, seeing what is, becoming more clear on what is, seeing, oh, this works, this is where my life works, this is where my life doesn't work. And you basically create more clarity on, it's like turning on the lights. You see what is, and you see, okay, this is where I could go in my life, and this is creating more of what I would like, and this is something that doesn't create more of what I would like, and it's just making things easier for you. And one of the tools that work really, really great for those things that stand in your way, it's called interesting point of view. I have this point of view, and the way that you use this is when you notice yourself having a point of view, like, oh my God, this is horrible, I'm never going to be able to change this, or like this situation right now, it's so horrible and terrible, and money will be really hard to create, or whatever points of view you have in your world. You take that point of view and you say, interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Okay, so if you're somewhere where you can say it out loud, you can say it out loud together with me, or if not, you can say it in your head. Both work. So let's say together. So take that point of view you have about what's not easy right now, and let's say together, interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Okay, so say it again. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. And now again, interesting point of view, I have this point of view. And now say it again. Wow, interesting point of view, I have this point of view. And now check how it is now. Is it as solid as before? Is it worse? Is it less? There's no right or wrong answer. Just check if there's any difference. And if there's still something left, if there's still some solidity left, you say it again. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Wow, interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. And maybe some of you start to smile now. And and maybe you notice that what you just some moments ago made real actually isn't real. And that's how it goes. We have just decided and agreed and aligned and resisted and reacted to so many things all these years, and created like these things, invented so many things that are not real. And with this tool, you can basically check which of those points of view are like what is real and what isn't real. And if you run this a couple of times and you say this a couple of times, you will realize how many things are not real that you have bought as real. And that way you get access to more of you, more of your reality, and more of what's true for you. Because if you buy all those points of view, it gives you a hard time knowing what's true for you. And knowing what's true for you is a vital element of creating your life and creating your future. And especially now with so many things changing, with something that people call a crisis. What if it's not a crisis? What if it's actually a possibility? So you could say, interesting point of view, I have this point of view that this is a crisis. Wow, interesting point of view, I have this point of view that this is a crisis. Pretty interesting point of view, I have this point of view that this is a crisis. And what is the possibility here that I have not yet considered? What is possible, especially right now, that has not been possible before? And how can you use this time? What can you discover Some people are at home and can't get out. How can you use this to your advantage? I mean, you can choose to suffer and to complain, or you can choose to use this time to discover new things, learn things on the internet. It's so much information out there. You can, do things that you didn't have time before. Maybe learn, some dance or something, or whatever, cooking things, or whatever you wanted to do for a long time. And how can this inspire you to be more clear on what's fun for you, what makes you happy, which you then can use to create your future. These are very, very exciting times. These are very, very interesting times. And these are times where everything is changing. And what I get about the future is, it's a time of reevaluation where we get to see how are things in our world with our economy, how are things with businesses, how are things with relationships, how are things with agriculture, in every area of our lives. We get to reevaluate and see, okay, where are we now and what's required for a new world order, for a new future. And each and everyone gets to contribute to that future. It's like we always think, oh, somebody else decides. Yes, somehow, but also you are very powerful with the choices you make. It's like if you choose to be light and happy in times like these, and if you ask what you know and maybe voice it, what influence, what impact do you have on the world that you try to dismiss? What if you don't dismiss yourself anymore? And what if you realize that happiness and joy and lightness are very powerful, especially in times like these? So what if you choose to be more of you and be more of the lightness and ease and joy? What future will we be able to create? So thank you for listening to another episode of Pragmatic Psychology. And I am thrilled to more and more discovery for creating a life in the future that works for us. So if you have any comments and questions, feel free to send them in, and see you or hear you next time. Bye. How was the show for you? Are you inspired? Feel free to share this episode with anyone you think would appreciate it too. Thank you for the contribution you are to spreading possibilities around the world. For more information, visit my webpage www.susannamittermaier.com.